Hello, and welcome to the first part of this video series for the Apptica Academy. We're going to be talking all about creative strategy, ideation, and how to craft the perfect creative. My name is Chris Szymanski, and I'm the creative director at AppAgent. My team is responsible for the development and implementation of creative strategies for some of the leading mobile game developers in the world. In this video series, we will be looking at the research that needs to go into developing a creative strategy, how you can take that creative strategy and develop it into your creatives, the anatomy of a perfect hook, and how to iterate on high-performing creatives. But before we dive into those topics, we need to understand what is a creative strategy. Think about it as your North Star for your creative team. It starts with a problem or an objective.
It can come in many shapes or forms, but ultimately it's a plan that outlines how you're going to achieve said objective through the communication of your ad creatives. If at any point, as a team, you are unsure in which direction to go, referring back to this should provide the answers.
It's multifaceted and can include a lot of things like objectives, creative directions, channels, formats, key messaging, CTAs, audience information, cadence of creatives, and also a testing plan on how you're going to test your creatives. Typically, in the fast-moving mobile landscape, we recommend to refresh this every 3 months. This should give you enough time to test your creatives and take some learnings that you can apply into your next batch of creatives. What's the first step in creating an effective creative strategy? Research. Number one is, of course, playing the game. Yeah, I know it's obvious, but the importance of this should really not be underestimated. In fact, you might as well throw all your other research in the bin if you don't do this correctly. Until you've felt the game's joy and its frustrations, you will never really be able to get into the head of a player or attract new ones. Take note of its mechanics. How do they make you feel? Which ones do you like? Which ones don't you like? What are the moments in the game that have you unable to put it down? And what are the moments that make you just want to throw the phone against the wall? Which characters and other elements are jumping out at you? And which are instantly forgettable? The list goes on, but trust me, do this well and you'll have ideas coming out of your ears. Number 2, audience deep dive. You should, in theory, by now, know who is your target audience. And there are some tools out there that I don't need to mention by name that will help you build a better picture of who is your player type. Player motivations are one thing, but you can dive a little bit deeper into that audience. Game communities and forums are a great way to find out what people really love about your game. Roll up your sleeves and get elbows deep in forums like Discord and Reddit and other social channels. They will give you a true insight into the sentiment of the game. Often people play the game in weird and wonderful ways that you can easily turn into creative and fun ideas.
Apptica has a few ways to find out what's trending. By going to the Ad Intelligence tool and Creative Gallery, you can view top-performing creatives and narrow it down by genre and other filters. Look at your competitors. What kind of creatives are they doing? Try to map out their creative strategy. What style of ads are they using and why?
When reviewing creatives, good or bad ones, historical or competitors, it's essential to do a creative deconstruction. This is how we do it.
We break an ad down by its hook, its core, and its end card, and try to hypothesize from a visual and sound perspective why they could be performing, and how we could use those performing elements in future ideation.
With this research, your creative strategy should be starting to take shape, and you should have some idea what is worth testing for your audience. But how do you turn that into creatives? Find out in the next part of this video series, when we look at the final pieces of the puzzle of a creative strategy and ideation. Stay tuned.